Hey everybody, Scott here for the Helix channel and the HX Stomp. Today, it's Monday, and today I'm going to show you some of my favorite IRs with the HX Stomp. And, you know, using the IRs with the HX Stomp, the same with the Helix, is a great idea because you get better feel, more amp-like feel, I find. And it's just, makes the whole experience of using it, especially if you're running it through, FR kind of speakers or direct. That way, it just feels better, more realistic, less, less dissatisfying. It's definitely more satisfying. And I've had, situations where in the past I was using, pods and XT, X3 lives, line 6 things, and it's just like, just didn't have the feel. So the reason why a lot of people won't use them is because they're taking up some blocks. And the way that I use them primarily, I like to double them up. On the regular Helix, I'll use on the top path, I'll have one IR. On the bottom path, I'll have another. So, taking up 2 blocks when you only have 6 total, that's a pretty tall order. And that's why I'm not really using them in the preset packages that I'm making, because it's just too hamstringing. You can't have the amount of modulations, delays, reverbs if you've got to use 2 extra blocks. But what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you some of the IRs that I'm using. Celestian, their proprietary IRs, 3 Sigma Audio, my personal favorite, and Ownhammer. And and then also the differences in them, because they are inherently different as far as the natural bottom end of them. Ownhammer and Celestian have a lot less natural bottom end to the IR. 3 Sigma has a lot more. So I'll show you how I deal with that and how I use them. Alrighty, here we are at the HX Stomp. I've got some gate happening, valve driver for later. Cali, Texas 1, set accordingly, blah, blah, blah. Using a dual cab here. This one is a 212 Jazz Rivet with a 121 ribbon mic and a 212 Interstate with a 30 dynamic that I like. So that's, this is a very... It's pretty cool. To me, this is a good combination. Very snappy, poppy, bright, but not overly so. For the first set of IRs I'm choosing, none of the amp stuff changes. I'm using some 3 Sigma Audio, the Ace Fender Twin 1A, and the high watt. I love to combine the high watt and the... Now with the Ownhammer stuff, I'm sorry, with the 3 Sigma stuff like this, you've got to set the low cuts accordingly, because there's a lot of natural bottom end to the 3 Sigma stuff, and you can roll it back a little bit and really fatten up the bottom end. But I find that it's best to avoid going too low on those, because when you crank it up to gig volume, it gets to be a little woofy. And that sounds fine to me. On the next set, we've got some of the, what do you call them? The Celestians. Celestians have a lot less bottom end, so you have to actually roll the low cut way back to the point where it's, almost turned off. And I'm using a pair of different Celestians, a 112 and a 212. And now you can tell that the bottom end just isn't there compared to the but if that's the sound you're looking for, then, you know, you just hit a street called easy, because if you want a thin stratty sound, then, you know, the Celestians are great for that. Now let's try some own hammers. So let's find some of them. Here are the own hammers I've got. I've got a 412 Marshall. With these, you don't have to dial in as much bottom end. And then I've also got the 112 Deluxe. And notice there's a lot more natural bottom end to these than to the Celestians. And they could almost, you know, stand a bit even less. So we're going to change a few things that I know will work as far as these go. And this might be loud. We don't know. There's no way of knowing. And you can bring in some more bottom end. It's easy. Get some more, you know, bottom end. I prefer it around 140 on the Marshall. Pretty slick. The Celestians. We'll probably have to dial these back a bit. The other Celestian. We'll use this. A little boxy. It's really does suffer from some kind of anemic bottom end. Try the own hammer. I've got a bunch of different ones in here, so let's just use a pair of own hammer Marshall 412s. These will a lot of bottom, a little too much. So, you know, I mean, whatever your flavor that you're going for, there's an IR for everyone. For me, the 3 Sigmas just work best. I like the natural mid-range scoop that they've got, the extended bottom end, and the highs that just are slightly muted. That's just my jam. But, you know, you can tailor them. You can always throw an EQ in after one, make it sound a little bit better, you know, stuff like that. But I do strongly recommend using more than one IR at a time to really get the depth of sound. And that makes it a bit of a struggle for the HX Stomp. So, if you can make it work with 4 blocks and 2 IRs, then kick ass. Or you can get one of those more radar pedals that has IRs built into it, run that after your output, and save yourself a block inside the HX Stomp. There you go, everybody. 3 IR choices for you. And I gotta tell you, to me, the 3 Sigma Audio wins every time. They just have more girth to them, and I don't have to add a bunch of bottom end to the amp model. I do like that their top end isn't as super bright as some of the stock cabs, because I'm forever trying to EQ that out anyway. So if they can start off a little bit muted on the top end, around 8 or 9K, that's great. And then I'll usually bring it down to anywhere between 6K and like 4.8. So good stuff. Whew. I will be back tomorrow with something. Last thing of the week. Then I'm going to the NAMM show. So come on up and say hi if you're at the NAMM show. If you're not at the NAMM show, you're missing out. It's going to be awesome. I'm psyched. So I'll see you tomorrow. And until then, rock on.